very solid. And like you said, if they want to make a splash this split, feels like taking down Frank kind of needs to be the first step on that road.
Yeah, absolutely. As we do load in, I want to say one thing about Hellpigs is, while obviously they don't have the greatest record, losing pretty much all of their games thus far, besides the game against Duish team, they have been extremely proactive. So a lot of the times they've fallen behind is because they've misplayed a gank or something very slight has gone wrong in their play. And I think a little bit of a cleanup on that, and you probably see a different scoreline from these guys because, I mean, it's generally like first gank goes slightly awry and then they just fall really far behind and it gets worse and worse from there. As we see, Pretender, 100 games in the PCS here. I'm sure he's not going to want to lose that.
No, we'll not want to lose on that 100th game. I am happy again to see another lethal tempo Azir. I would be a little surprised if he goes towards the Shadow Flame. It's Kaiwing. He's putting Pretender to shame. He's got 250.
Yeah. Well, same game. Both achieving milestones. Just shows pretty good longevity out of both of these players, obviously. I'd say Kaiwings is one of the higher in the league at the moment. A solo kill, actually, just going on in, and this actually will do a lot to hinder Godtone's jungle pathing.
Yeah, it's pretty annoying. I wonder, will solo kill still manage to get all the XP in time? Because he did have to walk the long way round after Taco came down. I think he gets the XP. Ooh, just barely. Yeah. I think he gets all three. I wonder if he's done that before. Had to walk the long way. Probably has. And being able to get all three, obviously, is very, very important. And mid lane, Azir, pre-6 especially, isn't going to have a whole lot of threat. But as the lane, kind of goes longer and longer, should start to get better and better for Adiogs.
Yeah, I wonder, the meta, where it was just Azir Victor every game.
Yeah.
You imagine that Adiogs probably got a few Victor reps in there, and that's why he pulled out the Victor in his most recent win. But I think that means you've also got a lot of Azir reps in too, because you're pretty much just 50-50 in which of those two champs you get during that time. Hook goes wide from Kaiwing.
Probably does mean that, yeah. I think at this point, if you have been a mid laner for a long time, you should be well versed on both of those champs. They've been kind of quintessential mid lane picks for a very long part of competitive mid lane.
I think there's like 2 different years where those two were like just the picks in the mid lane.
Yeah, I feel like Victor's been kind of missing for a while, but obviously was very solid for a very long time.
Yeah. A lot of that, at least for the recent this year, has come down because of the jungle champs that are now meta. It's way harder to play Victor against the likes of the Vi, Sejuani, even Wukong, Maokai.
Yeah, there is a lot of threat.
Yeah. Whereas Azir does have more safety. Perhaps less upfront damage than in Victor late game, but I'm sure Adiog's very capable of playing this Azir. I wonder if he goes for the same build as Mission. I suspect not. That seems a bit like a Mission-only thing, at least for now.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if he went at this game, because I think you're probably hitting Sejuani the most.
Yeah.
And it feels like, having the Leandri Nashes is probably the way to go. If he did go Shadow Flame, though, and he can rely on someone else to kill Sedge, he could still find himself dealing a pretty healthy amount of damage, you'd have to think.
Kai'Sa with the longsword start, so feel like it will be that Shiv. As Godtone's going to be actually found out here. He's really, really low, and Pretender jumping forward. Flash will be followed. Auto attack, it is going to be picked up from Hollow. I think it was the red buff that eventually secured that. But these are some of the problems we're seeing.
Yeah, I mean, again, it feels like kind of just gifted over from Godtone. Without that mid-priority, can't really get there, and was just caught. Unfortunately, and a kill goes over.
This wave's in a terrible spot.
Yeah.
Especially if your jungler dead.
Taco, he's going to have some trouble cleaning this one up. And maybe does need to just dash away. He will see Hollow here on the ward and should be out. But either way, there's no way to unfreeze this. It is a solid lead here for Taco, but he might see this sort of fade away as that wave is picked up. And level 4 versus 3 in the bot lane.
Yeah, it is going to be a bit of proactivity here, at least from IC8, who does get hooked up eventually. Will be using that dredge line to try and get away. But Gravitum slowing up IC8. It's actually going to be Eminem hitting a ward, but kill will be picked up here from Kaiwing. So 1 kill apiece here for this Thresh as well as the Sejuani. Clint's come out and the game does get paused.
Ooh. Yeah, game paused there. A little surprising. And I feel like Hellpig's bot lane, they did try and abuse that level advantage they had for a brief moment, but maybe weren't fast enough with it. And I wonder, do you think Eminem paused because he ordered the ward?
I don't think so. I don't think he's trying to fight down Tide there and is like in the middle of it, pausing. I think we saw it there as well. Just before the pause, up in top, Taco's pushed up into solokill's tower. So being true to his forward percentage, this man loves to be up in his lane in his opponent's face. He actually did have a slight CS lead already, so promising signs at least for the top laner, but with Sejuani as well as Thresh already picking up a kill, things not looking too hot here for Helpix.
It does feel a little difficult. Now, they do have some pretty solid scaling, though. They've still got the Azir Kai'Sa. So I wouldn't say they're in big trouble just yet. But obviously, Frank, they're a very good team at extending their lead. You know, no stranger to the sort of 20-minute victories that we saw from them last split. Obviously, have looked a little shakier this split.
All right, Shock. Question.
Yeah.
This is going to be a real hard to predict one, but final standings for Helpix come the end of the season.
Oh, final standings?
4 weeks to go.
I think they'll go like 2-16. What do you think?
Oh, my goodness. I reckon they might be able to find another game in there. I'll go 3,
Okay.
3-15. Maybe even 4.
Yeah, I think it depends if Duish team levels up or not. But we're back to the game anyway. Oh, we're going to replay. So yeah, they're level 4, but that creep just dies.
Yeah.
And it feels like they're going aggressive just at the wrong time. And maybe could have found it slightly quicker. And even with the missed auto attack here, the flash auto on the ward, they still managed to get the kill, right? Which really says that this wasn't that close. And just kind of showing a bit more strength in the bot lane. Cleanse did come out of Tide. Did he end up dying? Oh my god!
Kaiwing!
What a monster!
That's nasty!
Yeah, now that's... check him, PC.
I was going to say that Tide wasn't going to die because he had that flash, but that wasn't to be. IC8 going to commit his life here for the greater good. To be Eminem picking this one up. Is going to. So 2 kills now onto the Aphelios, and yeah, things looking dire.
They are not looking good here for the bot lane. It's a classic Thresh Lantern gank. Pretty hard to respect.
Now, I'm pretty sure IC8 has the most deaths so far in the
league?
PCS. And I don't even think it's particularly close. He had that like 8 or 9 death Rakan game in week 1 against Chelsea's Blitzcrank. If I remember correctly, there was another one similar last week. Oh, it was the Rel game where they went in the AoE team comp.
I remember that.
And now this game he's at 2 deaths already. It's only 7 minutes in. What do you reckon? All right, another prediction. Drop me another prediction. Nautilus deaths this game.
Oh.
This is a champ that once he's behind, he has no other function but go in.
Yeah.
So he just dies on repeat.
I think Nautilus is generally a pretty safe bet for most deaths. You know, I remember they had that thing at Worlds. Where
I mean number of deaths.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying that Nautilus, he does just die a lot.
Yeah.
And I think number for this game, I'm thinking 7.
7?
Yeah, I don't think he's going to make it to double digits.
You'd hope not.
But I think the thing is, even if they start winning, he's still going to die a lot.
Oh, yeah. He's at this stage, you never really stop dying as Naut. I think you have to get ahead as Naut to reliably survive your engages. Even when the games are even, you tend to see in these like late game team fights, both supports go in and die. And then it's just a battle between everyone else. But going back to the game, Taco having a fairly decent time for himself here.
He's trading pretty well on that top side. Now, Frank, are they going to look towards this red buff? They have a lot of strength on the bot side of the map.
Yeah, there's no skirmishing this, surely.
Yeah, and I think this will just be given over. And now Helpix, it feels like the only thing you can trade is Herald, but it would leave your bot lane in a very tough position. Aphelios can take this tower very easily, and feels like Pretender could even walk down here for a 4-man dive. So God Tony starts up the Herald, but now it's really up to Helpix bot lane. What can you neutralize here? It's going to be tough. I mean, 3 members down bot, and you know that there's no jungle assistance. They have no choice but to sit this far back as Eminem, he's about to start gobbling up these plates. Look at him go.
Oh, Kaiwing.
Can he thread the needle? Ooh. Close.
I think Tide was out of range of that anyway, but yeah, look how many waves. I think this is like roughly 3 waves of minions being missed.
Yeah, it feels so worth here for Frank.
Yeah, definitely. But this is the Herald, so 3 plates for Eminem. Look, this is a 4th wave crashing now as You are able to now come and collect this wave if you want, but still a bit scared and hesitant.
Does feel rough to lose that much CS, especially if you're going towards that shiv. You want to have it as early as possible. And it felt like there wasn't really a way they could defend that. If Godtone tries to defend the red, I don't think they win on the bot side. So ultimately, just kind of had to give it up. And Tidy's the one that really feels the pain of that.
Kind of crazy, despite what just happened, as well as 2 kills found on Eminem, that Tide is pretty much even in CS.
Yeah, he has managed to do decent. Now, there is another wave that Eminem should grab here. And Taco, maybe those trades are starting to get a little more difficult for him. CS is still looking very good for him, though, as he has that huge wave to pick up.
And that was ult committed by solo kill, so it should be favorable for Taco now, at least in the top lane. Adiog's also remaining even in his lane. It's going to be the Glacial Prison comes out, but good reaction times there from Adiog's on the Azir. Is going to be able to skate on out of that.
Or maybe another
Should be
trade in the
Dominus. Going to dodge out, actually, of that Counter-Strike, and he is now aggressing. Stun available. He's looking for the solo kill. He actually finds it. So Taco, 2 plates, a solo kill, CS lead. This guy is really looking to try chuck this team on his back and carry them across.
He is, and that's a really big win because now they can drop that Herald top. It looks like that's what they're doing right now, and that's going to be so much gold picked up. Yeah. Can they even play for the second tower? Perhaps
Beats
they
first
could.
blood tower as well, which is really important because you can see bot lane, once again, Tide and IC8 aren't able to do anything, just giving up more and more CS.
Yeah.
No cleanse on Eminem. So all Godtone really has to do is commit his life and get Taco onto this Aphelios, and you might have a shot.
They are going to have to kill him, though, because look how much gold he's picked up on bot lane. It's going to have just an absurd lead over his opponent here. We'll get a replay of it. Solo kill. He got very aggressive, but there's just so much healing and power that can come out. Even managed to hit the level 9 in there, perhaps a surprise. Flashes forward, gets the Fury. Wow. Didn't even need it. And wow, solo kill. He's not going to be happy about that one. But that really says something about Taco. I mean, I feel like solo kill maybe hasn't had the best split so far, but at least last split, you have to say a top 3 top laner.
I would almost have him as rank 1 for last split. He was phenomenal. But yeah, Taco doing extremely well here. And while I guess now the lane against Tristana might be a little bit more difficult, once Dominus is up, you feel pretty safe and honestly have kill pressure, so...
Yeah, maybe you can look towards that
Crown. So Crown's finished first here for Adiox.
Ooh, Crown. Feel like it's not that good this game. Think would have been better to go for the Leandries. We'll see if it ends up paying off for him. As this will be the second drag picked up by Frank very early into the game. Now, really, can they find a way to involve Taco in these fights as Hellpigs? Because the gold is still relatively even, but it's pretty much all on the Renekton. And they need to find a way to kill Eminem. Like you said, they have a lot of point and click, and he does not have a cleanse. But it's really about, are they going to actually find him? Because I think if Eminem just plays safe while Taco is missing, he shouldn't really ever die. And it's going to be hard for Hellpigs to find that window.
Yeah, absolutely. Life should be a little easier now for Tide, though, with the static shift completed. As well, credit to Adiox. Not the easiest matchup early game. Also received some pressure from Hollow and has remained pretty much even. In fact, slightly ahead on the Césaire. And going into the later stage of this game is going to bode really, really well for your team. Especially while you have this Renekton with so much power. Taco, though, uses that Fury pretty early as... Takes quite a lot of damage, but Dominus still available. He should be relatively safe. Although in saying that, this is now 4 members heading up towards him. Godtone in the area.
Yeah, I think he might just be a bit too difficult to dive. They leave him for now. Frank moving back towards this mid lane. With that permanent mid lane priority, it can make it quite difficult for Taco to play aggressive on the side lane. Even if he can beat Pretender's Tristana, there's just always going to be a numbers advantage here for Frank. And now, Hellpig's win condition could be in trouble.
Yeah, it's going to go early. Find a nice little bit of a trade here on Pretender as his team will be able to pull up. It is going to be 1 plate picked up there for Pretender on this Tristana. Important gold, but not overly drastic, all things considered. IC8 getting hooked up here. Kaiwing really in the thick of it. Adiox, though, a little bit out of position as Pretender flashes forward. Taco one-shots the Aphelios. And it's very, very low health bars as Tide Killer Instinct towards Kaiwing. It's looking like a good trade here for Hellpigs as Taco looks unkillable, although he gets stunned up. He finds the stun and return, is able to find the kill, has got that Triumph proc as well as the Q, but it's going to be Solokill turning it around. Tide trying to do damage as IC8 runs away. Solokill manages to get 2 for himself and Leap strikes forward onto Tide. Should be all she wrote for this fight. Actually, Tide getting a little bit too up in the grill, and that's a 3rd kill in one team fight. Solokill turning around.
Wow, so close there, at least initially. And I think there you really see the strength of Sejuani in a long fight like that. Lots of CC that comes out and just so much damage. And now Solokill finds himself with 3 kills. I do want to say it was a heroic effort coming out from Taco in that fight. I really hope we get a replay because there was a lot that went on in that fight, probably more than we could even talk about. Adiox, he managed to pick himself up a kill and get out. So we'll see how this starts off. It's an engage onto the Nautilus, which feels kind of the wrong target. And it's not a great spot for Frank to fight. As you can see, Adiox, he free hits over the wall, and he goes in. Now, it was nice from Eminem to flash this. But you'll see here, Pretender flashes forward, and he... Ooh, as we see down on the bot side, Goldtone actually... Did he get out? Ooh. Yeah, I was kind of more interested in what happened on the top side. You can see here, Taco fighting 3 members for a long time. Manages to get Pretender... and then get out, but it's just a kind of longevity in this team fight from that Jackson Sejuani. Yeah, and they just can't really kill him.
Did pretty much as well as he possibly could have. If his flash was up, he probably survived as well. Wasn't to be, though, and I don't know if you saw at the start of that fight when Kaiwing lands the hook, throws the lantern to Sejuani and goes in, had the biggest solo queue fresh moment where Sejuani, instead of taking the lantern, walks all the way to the fight to throw the ult.
I didn't notice.
Yeah. It was an absolute solo queue moment. But anyway, they did manage to pick it up eventually. And I think importantly, Jack's now getting a lot of this gold. Should have a really good time against Taco, who looked to be the main win con. Importantly though, Adiox did survive, pick himself up a kill as well. So Azir should be a decent problem in his own right. Now, does... Azir soldiers do hit through Counter-Strike, correct?
That's a good question. I actually don't think they do. But I'm not too sure.
Fair enough.
I mean, we'll see. Okay, Adiox, is he going towards a Shadow Flame or a Rabadon's? Because it feels like you could just go straight Rabadon's here, you know, given that you have attack speed already. But Rabadon's with Crown is a little odd. You know, doesn't have a lot of AP super early. Alternatively, there is no magic resist yet, and might not be for at least a couple more items. So could just go the Shadow Flame if he wants the immediate spike, and maybe they do, because it's 3rd drag spawning right now at only 17 minutes. It feels like they need to fight.
Yeah, they don't want to give over this, especially when, if you are able to take it, you give yourself just that much longer to scale on this Kai'Sa as well as the Azir. Flash forward from IC8. Actually, Hex Flash, but will not find Kaiwing. Taco, though, should be, at least in the 5v5, a little bit stronger than the Jax for now. Jax teleporting in, though, has a fairly decent teleport ward as Glacial Prison committed here onto the Nautilus. Jax in the back, though, he's going to be in this Dragon Pick. Leap Strike onto Taco, who does slice his way out. Don't know if he has the dice available, but ultimately he is so low. Vial committed here onto Pretender. Empress Divide will find 2. Eminem, wrong place to be, is going to be found, but it's a 4-man stun, I believe, found there from Solokill. 3v3 is remaining, but really low health bars as Tide and Adiox try and DPS these members of Frank down. And so far, they're pretty successful. It is going to be the team fight win here for Hellpigs. Massive performance from that Emperor's Divide, finding Eminem 2 fights in a row.
Yeah, it's really, really important. Eminem, he has a pretty hard job against all this threat. But somehow, Hellpigs, they managed to win that fight. And with that, they buy themselves a lot more time in this game. And in fact, might even be in a good position after this. You feel like they scale very well, and that buys them so much more time. I think, once again, a lot of effort put in by Taco, Adiox with that Emperor's Divide. I do want to say, I think Godtone, I mean, I guess we'll see in the replay, it feels like the Vial didn't really achieve a whole lot.
Yeah, I think maybe just committing it to Pretender so he has a harder time DPSing could have been the difference. We saw such low health bars at the end of this.
Yeah, I think initial engage from Frank, once again, a lot used onto
big
Nautilus,
flay,
and he just never really goes down. And also, Solo Killer's first E doesn't find any carries. So it's very easy to DPS here as Azir. Like, Adiox kind of has the best possible situation. And the Emperor's Divide, so much damage, combined with all the other lockdown, was a 3-man stun, almost turned it around. But, you know, tied this whole time is full HP as we turn back to live.
Yeah, it's going to be Kaiwing caught out here. Godtone finding himself a victim. Going to find that kill. Now, it is going to be 4v5, but you don't feel like much can be achieved. Maybe they can look for this middle tower. Bit of wave clear still available, though. I think that last fight, maybe Godtone just going on to Pretender was enough to change it because Hollow committed his time to dealing with it as well as Pretender. Couldn't hit anyone but the Vi. And Vi, at this point, with the items available, is kind of just an ult summon and die.
Yeah.
It's really the Azir and the Kai'Sa you want to keep alive. And from that fight, Kai'Sa are able to pick up the Nashes.
Yeah, I have to say, I feel like on paper, Helpigs are in the better position now.
Yeah.
You know, Azir getting closer to Rabadon's, Kai'Sa 2 items. It's a great spot to be in. And Frank, I don't think their team comp is as good as Helpigs is if they're on an even playing field. Especially if they don't have any magic resist and no lifesteal to speak of. So I'm really liking Helpig's position. And man, I think while you might say Frank perhaps not as dominant as Split 1, Helpigs are playing a really good game. Now Rabadon's here on the Azir.
Okay, this Azir is really scary now.
And Adiox, he's been performing very well on the control
Taco's
mages.
in a nice position if they are looking for something.
Yeah, he's got a great flank. I feel like no cleanse on Eminem could be his downfall in this game.
Yeah, I guess in fairness to him, the only thing you can really cleanse is that Renekton W. But at this stage, if you are getting Renekton W and you can't cleanse it, you just die. So, yeah. I tend to agree. I think cleanse feels fairly necessary against a Renekton a lot of the time.
Okay, solo kill is coming down here. How does that push on both top and bot? So currently, Frank should be able to control this area. Going to be hard for Helpigs to retake. But they don't really need to retake. All they really need to do is wait. As long as no Baron goes over, they're happy to scale. Hex Drinker now completed by Eminem. It is a good pickup against the Azir and Kai'Sa. But I do wonder if it's actually going to make the difference. Because I feel like if he gets Vialsed, followed up by Renekton, he's going down no matter what. I think Stopwatch might have been the better choice.
Renekton almost feels like the bigger problem anyway. I mean, you're going to be just taking damage from the Azir, so it'll block some if you're low, but Renekton feels like the finisher in a lot of these instances.
We'll be tied going towards the Ludens now. That's even more poke. And with, again, no lifesteal and only that one item of magic resist, feels like they're in a really, really good spot. 1 minute and 20 seconds on this next drag, and I feel like Helpig should win this fight. Of course, it does always come down to execution. But I think Helpigs might be in one of the best positions they've found themselves in against, a very strong lineup. Only 1 minute away now. They need to make sure that they can get into this bot river early. And if Helpigs do manage to win a fight, they have plenty of DPS. Should be able to turn to the Baron not too long after.
Thornmail was picked up here from Hollow ahead of this dragon fight, so I don't understand that purchase, to be honest.
Yeah, it seems really...
That seems terrible.
Doesn't seem particularly
Renekton's
useful.
not hitting you.
Yeah, there's no real other healing to speak of, so...
Not even that, there's no real other AD damage.
God, Tony feels safe contesting this, and I wonder... I mean, Helpigs probably don't want to give over the third drag, but they could just take a Baron for it.
Oh, Godtone isn't scared to Vault Breaker on forward there into Hollow.
It does look for at least a little... They aren't giving up their side lanes here as Helpigs. They're really just grouped on mid, so might lose their bot tier 2.
I see it looking. Hook does not land, but Kaiwings will, and that is going to be a dead Nautilus. Solo kill Counter-Strike does come out of him, and meanwhile, Pretender down bot lane, finding himself some objectives. And now, 4v5, you do feel like Frank are favored. In fact, they're turning their attention towards... Oh, no. Bit of indecision.
They go back towards the drag. I think that is the correct decision. Would maybe be a bit risky to take this fight, but ultimately, that is a huge mistake from ICA. I mean, I think this was a winning fight for Helpigs. Unfortunately, they lose a lot of health on their bot tower. They also lose that third drag.
Yeah, and it feels... I mean, while maybe Helpigs still have good chances in this game. One more Dragon going over to Frank, and it's going to become exceedingly difficult to kill this Sejuani and Jax, even if the Sejuani built a Thornmail.
Now a full maul completed by Eminem. It's interesting. I wonder, will Adiogs look towards the Void? He does. I like his build. Midwave is getting cleared out pretty quickly by the Shiv Kai'Sa here. I wonder, can Helpix get in a position around Baron to kind of poke down and force it? Because again, there isn't any form of sustain, although they do have an Ocean Drag now. They're in good control. Adiogs, he will go bot and match that Tristana.
I don't feel like Goldtone should be the one hitting this.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be able to get it. But Frank, they know without Azir here that they're probably a little stronger. They're going to try and take back some of that topside control. But it feels like we're not going to have a whole lot happen here. At least until that next dragon is up. That being said, maybe IC8 will look for some sort of engage again. Now 3 items completed for the Kai'Sa. Has the Ludens. Godtone needs to be careful.
Godtone, I don't think you want to be that far up, but I guess... Ooh. Taco doing really well at dodging out of those counter-strikes. Frank, though, having pretty much control over the entirety of this map. As we take a look at the replay, it was just a botched engage into an insta-kill.
Very unfortunate. I mean, didn't have the flash available either, but that's a very, very bad time to die, especially when you're, you know, you kind of need to either make a play or punish the bot. But unfortunately, they don't manage to do either. Now, Poke should start to be coming out from Tide. At 3 items, it's going to be pretty hard to deal with. Goldtone taking a little bit of chunk. Ooh, Hook does go wide. Lifesteal now comes through for Pretenders. That's a pretty important pickup. Although he's not going to be the one that's getting poked yet until he groups.
Yeah, and I think if you're Helpix, you can look for a fight here. Eminem is by himself, as Godtone should find him, but the snare will come out as well as that Sejuani ult does commit. That cease and desist, and with Radiant Virtue should heal up a little bit, but it's Taco in the back line. He finds access to Eminem. He's going to have the damage as Tide comes in, finds himself a double, finds himself a triple. He's on for a penta. He's trying to run and find the damage. Pretender, quadra kill. Kaiwing, though, will be denying the penta, but it is a 4 for 0 as well as Baron. 6.7k damage from the Kai'Sa.
And could this be it? Helpix not only now in such a good position against Frank with the Baron, but this could be the first time one of our bottom 4 teams manages to kind of pierce that top 6 barrier, which would be so big, especially for Helpix. I mean, even earlier this game, I feel like we were kind of writing them off. But they're looking very good here. Godtone was just completely caught out, had no business being here, but it's a really good TP that comes in from Taco. I mean, he manages to dash over the Baron pit. No one sees him there. Finds that access onto Eminem, and without the cleanse, is just taken out immediately. And just so much damage comes through from the Azir as well. Full HP the whole fight. Never really in any danger. It was the quadra kill picked up there for Tide with a nice W at the end.
Oh, you know, that fight right there, Taco teleported in, flashed the Baron wall so he could use his slice and dice through the Baron to get an extra dash.
Yeah, that's very, very Chad.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was perhaps what turned the fight. Being able to have that second dash, get the stun on Eminem, and then Kai'Sa ulting on through. Look at the damage dealt. I mean, despite what happened and how quickly Eminem got taken down, still did the most damage on his team.
Yeah. But now it's really difficult. I mean, level 16 Azir with a Void Staff and a Rabadons.
Yeah, and there's not that much wave clear. You've got the Infernum for about 20 more shots. But other than that, no wave clear really here for Frank, so it should just be a bunch of objectives going over to Helpix. More gold in their back pocket, and GA now completed for Taco on this Renekton. So if you couldn't kill him before, you're going to have to kill him twice, and that doesn't seem awfully feasible.
No, it does seem like no one can really deal with him right now. And this, I think, can be sort of a limitation of the Tristana, is if you don't have AP in other areas, suddenly it can be really hard to kind of get through a front line that builds armor, which is kind of what we've got here. You know, you oftentimes see the Sejuani, which makes people itemize the Mercs, which they have, but also you still have no other AP damage really to speak of. So it's so easy now for Helpix to continue to stack armor. This will be a drag picked up, but it's a 5k gold lead currently. And Helpix, I feel like there's always the the chance that they throw.
Yeah.
But it feels like it should be unlosable from this point.
Yeah, in many ways. I guess I'm really questioning this Sejuani build. Because Barmy Cinder now picked up, which insinuates more armor against what mostly is AP damage. You've got AP Kaiser and an Azir. What are you building armor for? The Vi? The Renekton that's going to be trying to hit the Tristana or the Aphelios?
Yeah, it does feel very weird. I love Adiog's build, though. He has a Magi's now as well. I actually love his build. It's so good. Tide, he's going towards the Rabadons, and I can kind of see it because there just isn't... Oh, he's going towards the Shadow Flame. So I'm not a huge fan of that, but it's decent. I mean, there is just no MR other than that Maw, really. A little bit coming through from Hollow, but I'm sure the Azir will take that guy out.
Yeah, the Azir seems pretty strong at this point. 4 items completed. All he really needs to do is look for a few more pages in that book.
And definitely should get them. I don't think anyone can really threaten him. Maybe if Jax can find some sort of flank. Jax going towards the Zhonya, which, again, mainly buying it for the active, but the armor isn't going to help you here. So it really is just for that active.
Ironically, the magic damage does a little bit.
Yeah, I suppose.
Not much, but it's better than what they have otherwise. And look at how much damage Taco is doing. Might even be able to, if he continues, force out the ult here. In fact, he will, but he's been altered the way Pretender wants to go, and he didn't get the reset, but cooldown does come back up. Your Tristana being in a side lane against Renekton and it going that poorly really does not bode well.
Yeah, Tristana won't be able to get to relevant items this game. She needs both. You know, she completes the BT, but she also needs LDR and probably a more at this point. And realistically, there is no time to get those items. So Pretender, he's going to have a very tough time team fighting. It feels like it's almost up to Eminem to put this game on his back. But how can you? I mean, there's so much point and click. The Nautilus, the Vi. Now, we are still on pace for a 7-death Nautilus.
Oh, we are. He's going to keep dying, but that's okay.
Yeah,
he's allowed to keep dying. He's got a Bramble Vest. So, and ironically, that's actually very good because he's going to be getting auto attacks by 280 carries and a Jax, maybe.
I like it. That skin's pretty annoying.
Yeah.
I don't like
Stop doing that.
Okay, 2.5 minutes on what will be the 4th dragon for Frank if they can get it, but Hellpigs will really not want to get that over. Yeah, surely there's got to be something better to do than spamming recall in this bush. Maybe not, though. They're going to sweep some of this topside jungle now. And what's it called? The Baron in only a minute. And Hellpigs, they do it so fast. They have so much DPS. Now some pretty big MR items coming through. Hollow, he's starting to work on it. But the problem is, when you get it after the Void Staff, it doesn't really feel the same. You know, you pick up that MR before the Void Staff. Now the AP champ, they really struggle to pick up kills on you. Hold that thought, Taco.
Taco is getting looked at here, but teleport coming through here for Adiogs, and ultimately he's winning the 1v2 anyway. Adiogs coming through. There is no mana left on this Jax, and he is actually just one-shotted. Look how strong Taco is.
Yeah, he's still at GA. That was not close at all.
Comes out half health with an entirely full Fury bar. Now, it should be Hellpigs picking up some more objectives. Cleanse available for this Kai'Sa, so should be relatively safe, even though there is a Sejuani. Well, if you're not able to 1v2 the Renekton, what are you able to do?
Yeah, it feels like in a lot of trouble here. And Frank getting pretty desperate. Wouldn't be surprised if Hellpigs just start up the Baron. They're actually not looking towards it just yet, but I think if they just did it, there's no way Hollow should be able to get here. Just leave one carry over the wall, and the rest will kill it. And
yeah, you could just have Azir here. Sort of doing this. Not the best all the time, but actually IC8 will be scouting at least. This Baron has just been melted.
Yeah, crazy damage there, and resets should be able to come through before the next drag. Hellpigs, they continue to pull ahead, and it just feels like Frank don't really have a play at this point. It really is just hope Eminem can pop off, because Pretender can't do the damage. The front line cannot stand up to how strong this Azir and the Kai'Sa are. They're really running out of options here. As a side of Frank, they kind of have to try get this dragon somehow just to have a chance.
Thornmail now. Yeah, this Renekton's not dying.
No. He's working on a Sterak's as well. He's going to be so strong.
Yeah. All right, well, now we do see them setting up for this dragon, ensuring that doesn't get sneaked away for the soul. Kind of like it. There's many times where I don't think Dragon is worth it when you have the Baron buff, but I think this is an instance where it probably is. The game also is likely to go for another 5 minutes.
Yeah, I think Hellpigs, they can just play it out carefully. Now full build on the Azir.
I think you almost have to, just Aphelios as a champion. And that almost makes what Godtone was doing of just recalling in that bush worth it, because it's better you do that and do nothing than look for something and die and give away the lead.
That is true, and that's something we've criticized a lot of these lower tier teams of. Is just kind of giving over some of those free kills. But like you said, their proactivity some of the time is good. And if they can just kind of clean that up, which it looks like Hellpigs have, they can, maybe make a dent against some of these top teams, because right now, they look to be in such a strong position versus Frank. Frank needs to be a bit careful.
Azir.
Yeah. Rabadon's not far behind on the Kai'Sa either. It's a stopwatch for Eminem, which is actually a pretty important pickup.
Definitely.
But I wonder if he just gets his air soldiers put on him and one shot when he comes out of it.
Yeah, that can be a problem. As well as you are just going to get hit by a Kai'Sa W if you're not behind anything, which will chunk you as well.
Looks like the Jaxi does block the soldiers. I think it does anyway. Couldn't quite see.
Oh, that shield got eliminated.
Yeah. Just play it slow here. You've got a lot of poke. You got two cannons. Looks like they're not going to be able to protect it, but they are crashing the mid wave. Waves being desynced is a little problematic, but it looks like they will still break the base eventually.
Yeah, should be this next wave. Bot should go down.
Yeah, just need to be a little careful. I think if Hellpigs had synced the waves, probably could have broken it, but they still have another wave of Baron. Oh my god, the Shiv.
Yeah.
Manages to stop Kaiwing's base from all the way back there. This should be both mid and bot being broken, and I think the Inhib's not far behind.
Your Aphelios doing that little amount of damage to Vi is not good. He doesn't even have very good guns for the next fight either.
Yeah. Now,
admittedly, if they are grouped, it can offer a lot of damage, the Infernum gun, but with the Azir, the Kai'Sa, those two at least aren't likely to be grouped, and Glacial Prison goes wide. Godtone is looking in the middle, does go golden, will be hooked up afterwards, and actually immediately gets popped, as now Hellpigs should be disengaging, although Hook lands onto Taco. He flashes forward onto Eminem, who cops everything, is going to be able to go golden, but it's going to be the Empress Divide. That's an immediate triple kill found, and they're looking for this final member in the Jace. Tide will find it, and Hellpigs, against all odds, managed to take the game away from Frank.
11,000 damage done by Azir in that fight. 25 stacks on the Medjais. And look, hey, really well played there from the side of Hellpigs.